Hello there! Welcome to Wisdom Academy PH. In this lecture video, you will be learning about multiplying polynomials. So, this is the 6th lecture video on elementary algebra. And basically, nung mga nakaraang videos, diniscuss natin yung dealing with numbers. We dealt with numbers. We dealt with the concept regarding numbers, the concepts behind algebra. We have also started yung operations with polynomials, and actually no last lecture video natin natutunan natin mag-add at mag-subtract ng polynomials. In this lecture video, matututo naman tayo mag-multiply. Now, without further ado, let's start, no? So before we multiply polynomials, actually really yung mga I'll be equipping you with the necessary tools, no, para maging intuitive sa inyo yung pag-multiply ng polynomial. So yung first tool, mga first set of tools na i-discuss natin ay yung ito yung magiging outline natin. Yung first set of tools na i-discuss ko sa inyo ay yung properties of multiplication. Why are those important? Na-discuss na sa atin yun nung elementary. Bakit siya magiging importante ngayon? Kasi yung properties of multiplication, yun yung magiging sobrang helpful sila sa pag-organize ng mga multiplication problems natin, no? Para maset mo sila, maayos mo yung mga problems into a way na mas maintindihan mo sila. Yung properties, dun sila nag-fit in. Now, yung laws of exponents, important yan. Yeah, required na malaman yan. Dahil kailangan mong malaman kung ano yung exponents na lalabas kapag nag-multiply ka ng dalawang variables. And then, yun, we'll be proceeding, after discussing those two, we'll be proceeding with the discussion of the multiplication of monomials, yung polynomials with one term, and then yung multiplication with polynomials, yung polynomials na marami ng terms. Polynomials na maraming terms. Polynomials with any number of terms. Now, okay, yung properties of multiplication. So, ito yung tatlong properties na kailangan nating maalala. So, first is yung commutative property of multiplication, and then identity property, and then associative property. So, sa commutative property of addition, as you can see, direct ako ng sina-add yung talagang main takeaway natin sa bawat property in Tagalog. Yan. So, nilagay ko, pwede mong pagpalitin yung mga factors sa multiplication. Yun sa commutative. Pag nakita ka ng dalawang bagay na nakamultiply sa isa't isa, pwede mong pagpalitin yun. Or, halimbawa, marami rin sila, pwede mo silang pagpalitin. Dahil nga sa commutative property of multiplication. Why? As you can see, this 5 times 4, this is equal to 20. Yung 4 times 5, that's also equal to 20. So, the order doesn't matter. So, I hope we're clear on that. Sa associative naman, as you can see, pwede mong baguhin yung groupings ng factors, assuming, always remember this, na multiplication lang yung namamagitan sa kanilang lahat. So, pwede mong baguhin yung groupings ng factors. In this case, 3 times 2 times 2 is also equal to 3 times 2 times 2. Na nakagroup yung 3 times 2 dito at yung 2 times 2 dito. So, ito magiging 6 times 2 equals 12. Ito magiging 3 times 4 equals 12 din. So, in this case, main takeaway, groupings don't matter, especially when groupings don't matter when you only have multiplication dun sa vicinity ng expression na yun. Okay. Now, identity property of multiplication. Pag nag-multiply ka ng 1 sa isang number, same nang lalabas. Isang number, pag minultiply mo sa isa, yun din, yung lalabas. So, 5 times 1, 2 times 1 equals 2. 3 times 1 equals anything. Anything na multiply mo sa 1, same number lang ang lalabas. So now, we have learned the properties. We're equipped with yung ways kung paano natin, sakaling mahirapan tayo, ma-equip tayo yung ways kung paano masisimplify yung mga multiplication problems natin. Ngayon naman, let's recall, no, yung na-discuss sa atin noon na laws of exponents. So, yung mga batas, yung mga sinusunod nating mga norms whenever we multiply exponents. So, firstly, we have a number raised to something, a number raised to n, a raised to n times a raised to m. Kapag nag-multiply ka ng dalawang number, ang gusto nito sabihin, pag nag-multiply ka ng dalawang number na pareho ng base, ito yung base pareho silang A yung base nila. Pag pareho yung base nila, minultiply mo na sila sa isa't isa, kung ano yung exponent nung first, ang tawag dito, kung ano yung exponent nung first number, i-add mo yun sa exponent nung second number. So, let's have an example, a quick example. For example, we have 3 raised to 2 times 3 raised to 4. So, as you can see, pareho silang 3 yung bases nila. Parehong 3. Pag pareho sila ng base, at minultiply mo sila sa isa't isa, pag pareho ng base, tapos minultiply mo sila sa isa't isa, makakuha ka, ang gagawin mo, ang makuha mong sagot ay yung sum, yung mismong base din na yun, raised to yung sum nung mga exponents. So, you would add 2 plus 4, you would get 3 raised to 6. Another example, 2 raised to 5 times 2 raised to 2. So, in this case, add ko lang yung exponents nila. Pag nakamultiply nga yung dalawang number ng pareho ng base, 2 raised to 7. Okay? So, 2 raised to 7 yan. So, ganun lang. Ganun yung sa first law natin. Yung sa second law natin, magiging helpful siya sa division by monomials, and I'll be discussing this on the next lecture video, kahit hindi na ngayon. So, ito namang next ay a raised to n raised to some number, some value. Ang mangyari dyan, you would multiply the exponents. So, dito naman sa last case natin, sa a raised to n raised to m. So, let's have an example on that. For example, meron tayong 3 raised to 3, ni-raise natin yan sa 4. Ang mangyari, i-multiply natin yung exponents nila. So, mangyayari, magiging 3 raised to 12 yung sagot. Kasi, I'll multiply 3 and 4 doon. So, ang magiging helpful sa atin sa ngayon, no, ay yung first lang muna. So, always remember this first one, na kapag pareho ng bases, take note yun yung talaga yung requirement. Dapat pareho ng base. Pag pareho ng base, multiply mo sa isa't isa, i-add mo yung exponents nila. Remember that. Okay? Yun yung magiging instrumental sa atin dito sa lesson na to. So, etong dalawa na to ay siguro next time magiging helpful sila. Sa ngayon, focus muna tayo sa first law na nakikita natin ngayon. So, let's proceed with the multiplication of monomials. So, paano tayo mag-multiply ng dalawang polynomial na isa lang ang term? So, doon tayo mag-start muna sa simple, no? Sa monomial times a monomial. So, in this case, 2x, this one is a monomial, a polynomial with one term, and 5x squared, another polynomial with one term. So, what we would do, pag nag-multiply, kakita ka na ganyan, ang multiply mo, first, step 1, multiply yung coefficients nila. Ano yung coefficients nila? Ito si 2. Ito si 5. Yun yung coefficients nila. Multiply mo yun. 5 times 2, you would get 10. And then after that, ang i-multiply mo naman ay si x, yung mga x's nila, yung variables nila. Si x, multiply mo sa x squared. So, you would get x times x squared. So, apply mo yung laws of exponents dyan. Pareho sila ng base. Ang mangyari, i-add natin yung exponents nila. So, 10x raised to 3 or 10x cubed. So, ganun lang mag-multiply ng monomials, no? So, saan papasok na yung properties? So, yung properties, pwede mo sila gamitin anytime. Kung gusto mo i-organize yan. Kung gusto mo pagpalitin yan, pwede mo pagpalitin. So, may mga cases kasi na mas magiging madali pag ginamit natin yung properties in one way or another, or pinalitan natin yung groupings. So, yung properties ay tinuro ko so that anytime kung nahihirapan kayo sa current form ng problem, you can always use those properties to really ibaguhin yung itsura ng problem, baguhin yung appearance ng problem by reorganizing them or applying yung properties nga natin. Okay? Now, okay. So, we have discussed yung multiplication of monomials. Now, let me discuss another property na hindi ko pa na-discuss kanina. Isang bagong property na tinatawag natin distributive property. So, this property leads sa learning natin sa pag-multiply ng polynomials. Ito ang magiging susi. Ito ang magiging susi sa pag-multiply natin ng polynomials. Any polynomial, mamumultiply natin gamit ang distributive property. So, although lahat naman ng discuss ko kanina importante, itong distributive property, ito yung susi. Ito na yung parang kailangan mo talaga para mabuksan yung pinto papuntang sa multiplying polynomial. So, why is this important? Dahil ang distributive property ay makakapag-lead sa iyo sa pag-multiply ng polynomials of any number of terms. So, in this case, meron tayo dito, isang binomial, no? Ito ay isang binomial. At ito ay isang trinomial. Using the distributive property, makakapag-multiply ka ng binomial and trinomial, pwedeng trinomial and trinomial, pwedeng binomial and binomial, pwedeng monomial and trinomial, lahat ng types of polynomials mo-multiply mo with distributive property. And, simple lang, ang distributive property, let me discuss this to you. What you would do is you would look at the first factor. What's the first factor in this case? The first factor is itong binomial. Ito yung first factor natin in this case. Yung first factor natin, tingnan mo yung mga terms nila. Ano yung mga terms nila? Itong si x at si 1. Nakita mo na yung mga terms nila, anong first factor natin. Yung bawat term ng first factor ay imumultiply mo sa lahat ng terms ng second factor. Ito yung second factor natin. So, ulitin ko. Yung bawat term ng first factor, i-multiply ko sa lahat, bawat term ng second factor, lahat ng terms ng second factor. So, yung first term ng first factor ay si x. Iisa-isahin ko silang i-multiply sa lahat ng terms ng second factor. After ko sila i-multiply, tinignan ko na yung first term ni first factor, yung second term naman ni first factor. Ang i-multiply ko sa lahat ng terms ng second factor. So, anong nangyari? First factor natin, isa-isahin mo lang lahat ng terms niya at i-distribute mo siya. Parang dinidistribute mo lahat ng terms. Bali, ang nangyari lang, lahat ng terms ng first factor, dinistribute ko sa lahat ng terms ng second factor. Yun ang distributive property. So, pag nasa ulado nyo yun, lahat ng klase ng polynomials mamultiply nyo. And, yun. So, let's try this one, no? Gawin natin dito sa problem na to. Let me clear everything. Let's answer this problem. Again, bawat term ng first factor, imumultiply ko sa lahat ng term ng second factor. So, bawat term, si x, multiply ko kay 2x squared. Isa-isahin ko lahat ng terms ng second factor. Okay, so x times 2x squared. So, mentally, that's 2x squared times x. Loss of exponents, that's 2x cubed. Then, after nan, ito namang si x at si x, multiply ko, x times x. So, lagay ko na dito para hindi na kayo maguluhan. Multiply ko yung monomials dito sa gilid. X times x. What you would get right there is x squared. Pareho sila ng base. And then, yung exponents nila ay 1 plus 1. Tapos, ito naman, x times 1. You would get plus x. So, ito yung, kumbaga, ito yung napulot natin sa first term natin. Sa second term naman, ito, isa-isahin ko siya, yan, sa ilalim ko papadaanin. 1 times 2x squared, that's 2x squared. 1 times x, that's x. 1 times 1, that's 1. So, with distributive property, na-multiply na natin silang lahat. Ang kailangan na lang natin gawin, ito yung sa second term na, para lang malinaw. Ang kailangan natin gawin ay i-simplify lang. Pasimplehin natin. Ipagsama-samahin natin. Gamit yung mga lessons din ng adding polynomials yung nakaraang video. Pagsama-samahin natin yung mga like terms na pwede nating pagsamahin. In this case, etong si x squared at etong si 2x squared like terms yan. Pwede kong pagsamahin yan. Bring down ko lang si 2x cubed. Pagkasamahin ko yung like terms, magkakaroon ako ng 3x squared. Ito rin, like term din yan. Si x ay magiging 2x. And then si 1 is, yan, as is. Now, as you can see, we have multiplied a binomial by a trinomial. So, ganun lang, no? Using distributive property, any pa yan. Kahit ano yan, trinomial pa yan at trinomial. Using that, isa-isahin mo lang lahat ng terms ng factors at i-distribute mo yan. Yung bawat terms ng first factor, distribute mo sa lahat ng terms ng katabi niya. Lahat yun, isa-isahin mo. So, ganun lang. So, with that, may bago kayong natutunan. Assuming na you don't know this yet, Okay, let's proceed to another example. So, gawin ulit natin. We apply the distributive property to this example. So, gagawin natin bawat term ng first factor ay didistribute ko sa lahat ng terms ng second factor. So, let's do that. Bawat term na to, ito yung first term na, distribute ko sa lahat ng terms ng second factor. So, let's start with yung first natin, first arrow natin. 3x times 3x squared, you would get 9x cubed. See, 3x times 2x, that would be 6x squared. And then see 3x times 1, that would be 3x. Ito namang si 2, multiply ko siya dito. Dito, and dito, you would get 6x squared. So, pwede nyo nang gawing mentally yung pag-multiply ng monomials. Si 2 times 2x, you would get 4x. And then, si 2 times 1, that would be 2. So, in this case, again, always, you can use your properties of multiplication and addition para pasimplihin tong mga to. Pwede nyo pagpalitin, pwede nyo i-organize, pagtabi-tabihin yung like terms. Pero in this case, I would add the like terms directly. So, 9x cubed, pagsamahin ko yung mga x squared, makakuha ko ng 12x squared, and then, itong si 3x at 4x, pagsamahin ko sila, I get 7x plus 2. So, ganun lang, no? We have conquered another multiplication problem. So, ganun lang. Distributive property is the key to solving multiplying problems involving multiplying polynomials. So, that's it for this slide. Now, another one. So, we are presented with a simpler problem. So, ito, kung mapapansin nyo, ano to? Ano to? Binomial. Ano to? Binomial din. So, gamitin natin ang distributive property sa problem na to. Again, ano ang ginagawa sa distributive property? Lahat ng terms ng first factor, i-distribute ko sa lahat ng terms ng second factor. So, etong si x, distribute ko dito. Distribute ko siya, ano makukuha ko? X times 2x. What do you get? X times 2x. That's 2x squared. X times 1, what do you get? You get x. Ito namang si 2, distribute ko naman siya sa lahat ng terms ng second term. 2 times 2x, you get 4x. 2 times 2x yan. Sulat ko rin dito para malinawan kayo. 2 times 1 is equal to 2. So, as you can see, using the distributive property, na-solve ko tong binomial times binomial, ang gagawin na lang natin ay dito, ito na, simplify natin tong nakuha natin into yung mga like terms. Pag samasamahin natin, ito yung like terms. Si x and 4x, gawin ko 2x squared. Pag samahin ko si x and 4x, I'd get 5x plus 2. So, nakasolve na tayo ng binomial times binomial, which is a simpler problem, actually. But, let me tell you something. Some other teachers, no? Ito naman talaga yung norm sa pag-multiply ng binomial times binomial. They use some kind of concept called FOIL. Kung saan ang ginagawa, para ginawa nila ng acronym, ginawa nila ng mnemonics yung pag-multiply ng binomials times binomials. So, ang mangyayari dyan, kapag meron kang binomial, a plus b times c plus d, ang ginagawa kadalasan ay tinitingnan yung first terms, minumultiply sila, outer terms, yung labas na terms, yung inner terms, and then yung last terms. So, anong difference ito sa ginawa sa distributive property? Actually, wala. Yung FOIL ay parang, hindi ko alam kung ba't ito ginawa, itong ano na to, pero kadalasan, siguro iniisip nila mas simple gawin, mas simple mag-multiply ng binomials, remembering yung first, outer, inner, and last. Again, first, outer, inner, and last. Yan yung mga positions ng terms na yung multiply. Pero actually, even without knowing this FOIL, Even knowing lang yung distributive property. Kasi itong foil na to, nagmula lang yan sa distributive property. Actually, I don't advise remembering yung foil. I always advise using the concept of distributive property, looking at all the terms of the first factor, and then multiplying all of those terms sa second factor, remembering that concept itself. Kahit hindi pa yan binomial times binomial, kahit trinomial times binomial, kahit binomial times trinomial pa yan, o trinomial times trinomial, kahit 4 terms times 5 terms pa yan, with the distributive property, lahat ng problems, lahat ng types of polynomials masasolve mo. You don't need the foil. You don't need foil. Ang nasasolve lang talaga ng foil ay binomial times binomial, which is nasasolve din naman ng distributive property. So, what's my point in telling you yung foil? I'm just telling you na that method exists, and you don't have to remember that method. Actually, you can remember that method. I'm not imposing this distributive property to you, pero kasi, ako, personally talaga, kapag inisip niyo yung distributive property, wala na kayong kailangan alalahanin. Hindi niyo kailangan alalahanin yung foil. Ang kailangan niyo nang alalahanin ay distribute talaga yung bawat terms ng first factor sa second factor. So, yun. This is really helpful, no? And really, yung foil, nagmula lang din siya sa distributive property, so I really recommend. So, this is just a recommendation. I'm not imposing this to you. I really recommend na itong distributive property yung palagi niyong isipin. So, with that said, that's it for multiplying polynomials. And today, actually, na-discuss natin yung properties of multiplication na actually hindi natin siya masyadong nagamit for this lecture video, pero actually, you can use those properties of multiplication to switch yung places ng factors, to remove the grouping symbols. Yung mga properties na yan ay magiging helpful sa future, no? Especially when you simplify your problems, you simplify your polynomials, yung properties for sure, they would help. And minsan nga subconsciously, ina-apply natin sila without knowing na ginagamit pala natin sila. So, lalo na kung alam nyo siya consciously, mas magagamit nyo siya, and really, pag nadagdag nyo yun sa arsenal nyo, mas madadalian kayo sa pagmumultiply. We discussed yung laws of exponents, kung paano tayo nag-operate with exponents pag nag-multiply tayo ng variables with the same basis, or even numbers with the same basis. We also discussed the multiplication of monomials, yung polynomials with one term. We discussed those. We also discussed multiplication of polynomials, which really hinges sa distributive property natin. Tandaan yung distributive property. I really like that property. And that's a really helpful property that doon din ang galing yung FOIL concept natin na first terms, outer terms, inner terms, and last terms. Distributive property yung pinanggalingan ng mga guidelines natin sa pagmumultiply ng iba't ibang klase ng polynomials. So, in that case, that wraps up our discussion on multiplying polynomials. Thank you very much for watching this lecture video. I hope you learned from this. And for our next video, we'll be learning dividing by monomials. So, we'll be starting on dividing polynomials. But first, on the next lecture video, magdi-divide tayo by a single term muna. So, thank you very much for watching this lecture video again. And I hope to see you on the next one. God bless. Thank you very much for watching this video lecture made by Wisdom Academy PH. If you want to join our mission of providing high-quality educational videos for all Filipinos free of charge, then please consider supporting Wisdom Academy PH by contributing or donating to the following accounts. Kung interesado naman kayo maging parte ng aming organisasyon bilang isang volunteer educator upang makapagbahagi at makapagturo sa mga taong nangangailangan, then please proceed to this link. If you like this video, then please hit the thumbs up. And if you want more educational videos like this, then please subscribe to Wisdom Academy PH and hit the notification bell for more updates. Watch and learn. God bless, and see you on the next one.